Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Rheology, playing at Playwrights Horizons. Now, before I jump into this interesting experimental work, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me grow my channel, get press tickets to see shows at Playwrights Horizons, which I love, and continue the conversation about theater, which I'm assuming you like theater. That's why you're here. Okay, let's talk about Rheology. Now, this is a short run. This is just playing for about a month at Playwrights Horizons, but I really wanted to check it out because when I read about it, it's the author, Shayok Misha Chowdhury, wrote a piece that involves his mother in it. Her name is Bulbul Chakraborty. I'm not going to say her last name again because I will destroy it. So let's talk about Shayok. Who is Shayok? He is a Whiting Award winner, and he was a 2024 Pulitzer Prize finalist for his play Public Obscenities, which premiered at Soho Rep. In 2020, he got a residency at Here Art Center specifically to write a play that would involve him and his mom. But the pandemic happened and he had to move back to his parents' home in Massachusetts for 5 months, but he continued to work on the piece. It finally premiered in 2025 at Bushwick Starr. It was co-produced by Mayi Theater Company and Here, and his mother, a theoretical physicist, actually won an Obie Award for her performance in that production. Now it has transferred uptown to the Peter J. Sharp Theater at Playwrights Horizons. So what is Rheology about? Well, Rheology is the science of how matter responds to external forces, or how matter reacts to forces acting upon it. And what Shayok has done here is he's taken this concept and he's turned it on himself. He's asking the question of how will he handle the death of his mother when that time arrives? Now, both of his parents are physicists. His mother is a theoretical physicist. And the show begins with Bulbul giving a lecture about her work, which is the study of sand and how it sometimes behaves as a liquid and it sometimes behaves as a solid. This eventually turns into a conversation between her and her son about her passing. She's in her 70s, and so it's something that is on his mind, and they work their way through it. The play is about 80 minutes in length. It's primarily just the two of them. I feel like Shayok did something very intelligent with this. You know, his mother is not an actor, but yet she is familiar with speaking in front of audiences, giving lectures about her work. So starting with this kind of lecture allows her to be in her comfort zone. And then as we get more into scripted theatrical parts, he has moments where she's singing in her native tongue of Bangla. And there's also moments when she's under a sheet and we hear her voice, and I assume that was pre-recorded. So I think he was very clever in, oh, and also when she's speaking in Bangla, it's projected in English, which then allows her to not exactly have to memorize all the lines in this script. I'm projecting a little bit. I'm sure she's capable of doing it, but I thought this was a very clever way when dealing with a non-actor in a show. First of all, I'm impressed that he was able to get his mother to do this. I don't think I'd be able to get my mom to do it, although this resonated with me because, as those of you who follow my channel know, my mom was recently visiting and I roped her into doing some reviews with me. She didn't want to do them, but I was like, this is what you got to do if you're going to get free rent here, lady. So anyhow, under duress, she did some reviews with me, which I think ultimately she'll be glad she did. So having spent time with my mother and incorporating her into something I do, this really resonated with me. In a way, I actually wish my mom had been still visiting so that we could have gone to this together. But hey, maybe in the future. So this really resonated with me because of what I was experiencing, but I think everyone has a mother, and if you're lucky enough, if you live long enough, you're going to have to deal with the passing of a parent. And so I feel like this has universal themes that we can all relate to. This is, I would call this experimental theater, in that it's not your typical kind of narrative play. This is really a theater artist using the art of theater to explore concerns and feelings and fear that he has about losing his mother. So this play is really a mishmash of lectures about physics. It's got some melodrama moments. It's got songs in it. It's got some scenes in it. It's got some meditations on death. So it's kind of a mishmash of a lot of different theatrical devices. So let's just get to it. Was I bored? Was I confused? Let's start with confused. I was not confused by this. I completely understood his purpose for making this play. I understood the conceit. I understood how it was being put together. I found it touching. I found it funny at times. I found it educational. So, this really did a lot for me. Was I bored? This show was about 80 minutes long, and the pacing sometimes is a bit slow, a bit. He leans into some theatrical devices with props and objects on stage that give the piece levels. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's faster. But I did find myself with some of the slower moments just being like, okay, let's move this along. I think the idea of this play probably could be done in about 60 minutes, but it is theater. 60 minutes seems a bit short, although go see 6 on Broadway. That thing's only about 60 minutes. So I thought it could be tightened up a little bit. This is an interesting piece of theater, whereas I think you really need to see this with the 2 people in it. And it reminded me a little bit of the play Well, which went to Broadway, which Lisa Kron wrote about her and her mother. But in this case, she had Jane Howdyshell playing her mother. And I feel like this piece is so specific to these 2 actors that I don't think it would work as well if it was done just by some actors. But still, as a experiment and an exploration of these ideas in a theatrical setting, I think it is very worthwhile and very interesting. So if this subject sounds like something interesting to you, then I definitely recommend you go check this out at Playwrights Horizons, because like everything they do, it is really well done. It's very thought-provoking. It's very enjoyable. I really enjoyed this play. So I was fortunate enough to get a press ticket, and I was seated right in the middle of the theater. But honestly, this is such a small space, the Peter Sharp Theater, that you can sit anywhere and have a great view. Also, there are 29 student member tickets and $39 young member tickets if you're under 35. So take advantage of that. All right. Thank you for watching this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with your mother, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.
Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front of me. 'Cause I don't wanna be